Welcome back to the How to Trade Crypto series. In this episode, we're going to look at how the big institutions are trading using supply and demand. Let's jump straight into this one.
Okay, so we're talking about Bitcoin. Is this Bitcoin run that we're seeing now?
Bitcoin and crypto bears are Bitcoin bulls. If you look here on the chart around, it's sort of just underneath 42. Here is why the cryptocurrency.
This is big. This is significant.
Firstly, what exactly is supply and demand? Well, let's just throw up some diagrams for you and firstly talk about supply. Have a look here. Okay, so supply is an area of which we're going to find resistance for a price. It's where loads of the sellers, the bears, are all camped, sitting, waiting to sell at that price or that region where the price is at and sell and push the price back down. So that's supply. Demand, okay, is a big area, or a nice area, a strong area of where we're going to find some buyers, the bulls coming into play, an area of which is attracting the buyers and to push the price to the upside. So that's effectively supply and demand. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit more practical now in the next clip and start looking at how exactly do we draw these zones? How do we know these zones are valid and how do we know they're really going to work? So let's just take a look at my chart now. Guys, what I want to do now is actually get a little bit more practical. Take a look at my screen here as we've been using the example throughout BTC, USD, Bitcoin, and we're using TradingView again just for our charting, our technical analysis. I do really enjoy TradingView. So first things first, what we're going to do is to draw up our zones. Remember, these are like rectangular, as you saw in that diagram there in that previous clip. These are like rectangular boxes, rectangular zones where the supply and demand, come into play. So what I want you to do on TradingView, okay, you should see all the tools to the left here. You want to find this square looking one, okay? So you click that and click rectangle. And this is how we're going to start drawing on our zones onto our chart. Now let's start off by drawing a supply zone. How do I mark up a supply zone? Well, firstly, I'm looking at this naked chart. I've stripped all my analysis, by the way, of this chart for the time being, just for this demonstration. And what I want to look at is where is it that the price has run into resistance, a valid zone. So what I start doing from the most recent point, I mark up this zone here. Okay, can you see? Look, supply, supply, supply. Look. We go along and look, I'm going to get into the validity of these zones in a moment. So look, we've gone straight across here. Now, I'll show you why this is valid as well. Obviously, we've got our various rejections. Yeah, looking there. Okay, as I say, this is always subjective by a few pips or whether it by the wicks of the candlesticks, the bodies of the candlesticks. Just find what works for you at the end of the day, okay? There's not anything going to be completely right or completely wrong. It's just down to, what works for you. Obviously, look, we need to draw fairly accurately our zones, all right, and find something that does work. So look, for me personally, what's proven to be successful when trading supply and demand is, okay, I've seen that this is acted as supply, fine. How do I really know this is a valid zone? I look left, remember history repeats itself. I look left and see, okay, this zone here has acted as demand previously. Look, you see the demand, support, and then we finally broke through and then rejected, now we're supply. So when you mark up a zone and it's acted as both supply and demand, you know that zone is valid. And you're looking left of the chart. Remember, history repeats itself to confirm that. Okay, to confirm that. All right, so let's mark up a demand zone now. Let's go this big area down here. Look, beautiful. Look, demand. And look at this. Look, beautiful. So we look to the left. All this powerful demand. And you see previously this was like a top area. We broke out. We retested that. Thank you. Now, your demand. Okay. So previously it's resistance. We had to break through that. Retest. Thank you. This is the demand zone. And you can see the validity of this by look at all these taps into this zone. So that's how you draw on and mark up your supply and demand. Look for the validity of the acting as both supply and demand. Look to the left to confirm that, to ensure that the price has previously entered into those zones and we found either support or resistance. And that's it. Time frames. Now, which time frames can you use supply and demand effectively? Well, the answer to that, guys, is any time frame, right? Supply and demand will be found across any time frame, from the monthly to the weekly to the daily to the 4 hour to the 1 hour to the 30 minute to the 15 minute to the 5 minute. You get the point. You can find it across. It's just where are those demand? Where's the supply? The seller's going to be camped. Where are the buyers going to be camped? In the demand areas, okay? But really, when the institutions are trading, these guys are trading obviously bigger capital, so they're going to be trading on the higher time frames. But let's just look at the example here. In my first one, I did show you the daily chart example. I got a little zone there. But let's look at now the 4 hour, okay? Let's see what's going on the 4 hour, okay? Here, look, I'm going to mark up a zone because I can see where the price has recently just found support. Look at this, okay? Price bounce here, demand. Look at this previous supply. Look, supply rejections. All this, obviously, give or take by a couple of pips or a few candlestick wicks, so on and so forth. But look, supply, you get the point. And now this is demand. Thank you. Again, look, this is still on a 4 hour. Let's go down a little bit further. Here, look, demand. Look, and now we're working zone to zone. Okay, we finally broke out that to the downside, but then we broke back above. Demand, thank you. You get the point. That's on the 4 hour. Let's quickly just take a look at another example. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Let's scroll somewhere else. Okay, this is on the 1 hour chart. All right. Look here. So I want to mark up zone. I want to see. Look, we bounced here for some reason. Zone, beautiful. All right. So if you look left with me, you see here. Look, supply rejection. All right. Now we finally broke through that. Look, demand. Okay, demand, and then we broke through again to the downside. Sellers come into play. Look, supply rejection. Then we broke through, retest, demand. So you see the point. You get my point there. So supply and demand could be used across all time frames. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, when you are trading these supply and demands, you want to look for other confluences as well. Remember, I've been over this. Confluences are reasons for us to take trade. We ideally want as many as possible. For me personally, I'm always looking for at least three confluences, so I could be confident. Confluences equals confidence when taking trades. So the more confluences, the more confidence I have when I'm taking a trade. So there are other things that you need to accommodate with that, and we'll go into more detail in a specific strategy in the next video on that one. But just giving you some examples there of supply and demand on different time frames. So I hope that gives you a good, brief, and informative insight into exactly what supply and demand trading entails. In the next video, I'll tell you that in a moment. But guys, this is quickly actually massive opportunity, right, for you to get involved in something that hasn't been seen across the industry. You know, cryptocurrency exchanges are highly profitable 365 days a year. No matter if they're in a bullish trend or in a bearish trend, these guys are making money. I say it all the time. If you want to diversify, right, your investments, look at potentially cryptocurrencies. Now, CoinCasso, obviously, this channel, CoinCasso are an exchange. They have a massive opportunity. You can click the link in its description, something not to be missed, okay? To be part of an investor of CoinCasso and growing with them. You can see the stats in the link in the description, just what they've produced so far. It's incredible. More growth to come for them. A lot of investor benefits such as NFTs, merchandise, a ton of investor benefits. So click the link in the description. Now, on our next video, what I want to do is go into a little bit more detail into supply and demand, looking at other confluences. What sort of confluences prove to be effective when trading supply and demand? What sort of things are we looking out for when we're looking to take a trade, more strategy based? All right. So guys, if you like this video, what I need you to do is please smash up that subscribe button. Please like and share this as well to any trading communities or any friends that you have, because this keeps me going. If you want to see more content. Other than that, do not hesitate to follow me on Instagram, CoinCasso on Instagram. Stay lit. Let's get it.